So we agree that your website is going to be one of the most important factors that Google takes into consideration when rating you for search engine, on their search engine, because, well, they figure, right? Your website is your biggest selling tool and your hub, right? It's about information for your customers. It's about who you are. It's about your company. It's about how you interact with your customers, okay? So website becomes key to the biggest part of the pie for SEO. Now, within the website, okay, we talk about pain point number one, which is getting more website traffic, right, for the average business owner, for the average dealership. Within the website, there are a bunch of things because it's a constant moving machine, right? There's a lot of components and parts onto a website that they're going to make an enormous and huge difference as to how you collect leads, as to how you interact with the customer, because of what kind of experience you give them. So the next biggest part to the puzzle, to the SEO puzzle within website, right, is what are you providing of value to your customers? And if you have to guess of a tool within a website of providing value to them, what would you guess that is? It's something that should be done regularly. It helps search engines know that you're actively putting content on it.
Updated?
You know, that it gets
blog?
Correct. That's exactly right. So, you know, one of the very main important aspects of that is blog. Now, a lot of our customers, right, they've got inventory management systems. And so they update, they have their site updated, particularly when they put up new inventory on used. Why is it different from new to used? Because what happens is that when like now we're in 2019, later on in the year, when the 2020 models are coming out, an entire batch of new descriptions and new pictures get updated to their websites, you know, particularly through a lot of these software companies that I have mentioned to them that provide their website content management system, like DealerSpike and, you know, ARI and DX1. The issue with those is that it's almost like you flip a switch and whatever brands the dealer represents, they all get turned on at the same time. Google knows that.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, okay, I'm putting up a bit of content here that's relevant to, you know, their customers, and another one here, and another one here, and another one here, and then the next thing you look, you've got this whole progression of value through a blog or other tools that we'll discuss in a little bit that you gave your audience on your website. The problem that dealers face is that they just updated all that inventory once in the year, and that becomes highly irrelevant, you know, just shortly after the hype of the new models is gone,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Now, with the used units, it's a little bit different because the used units, obviously, those get posted, you know, depending on the size of the dealership and the volume. Some of them, you know, will post dozens a day. Some of them will post only just a handful a week. It all depends on the volume that they're doing on used. And they are helpful. However, unfortunately, a lot of these same, you know, content management system websites that I just mentioned, they have the downside that how they structure the inner workings of the posts, okay, of these listings, they're not conducive for SEO. When we get even more granular to a blog and other aspects like, you know, listings, units, this is obviously within websites, so this is units. Okay, when we get more granular, Google is now going to look at what we can boil down to HTML markup. Okay? And they're going to look at certain aspects of the technicalities within the pages and how they're structured. Okay? Now let's go back again and go a little bit more. Let's get out of the granular and go a little bit broader, right? Because we talked about how SEO, getting more website traffic, right? How SEO has multiple pieces, to the pie, and how the main aspect of that is your website, and we can a big part of your website is into your blog and your listings. And actually, before we go broader again, another big aspect of it too is CRO, which is conversion rate optimization. And that is not as related to SEO as it is to pain point number two, which is going to be getting more leads. Okay? Well, I'm actually jumping ahead of myself here because CRO doesn't fit into this SEO criteria. It will fit into the getting more leads, but it is part of your website. Okay? So we'll just leave it on there for now.
Remind me what CRO stands for?
Conversion rate. Conversion rate.
So like converting a visit into something.
A lead.
Okay.
Bingo. That's exactly right. The idea is, okay, I get 40,000 visits, in a month. How many of those actually turn into a lead? How many of those actually say to me, hey, Mr. Dealer, contact me because I want your unit, You can get 100,000 people to your website, and if you get one lead, I mean, that sucks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where, that's transitioning onto, again, that pain point number 2, which is getting more leads. Pain point number 1 is getting more traffic to your website, right? So a big part of the SEO puzzle in getting more traffic to your website is going to be website, your website in general. Now, you have mentioned another one. What do you think is another part of the big SEO puzzle? You have mentioned it prior.
Keywords?
That's a little bit more granular.
Okay.
It is. That's actually keywords is a part of it, but it goes back to your website, right? So it's more granular. It goes back to website, and it's a whole part of a bigger strategy. But think about another part of the puzzle that they take into consideration. You have mentioned
Reputation?
Reputation. That's right. Now, where does a dealer gain reputation?
Reviews?
Through reviews.
Visits, reviews.
Right. And where?
Return visitors.
Where do
On
they?
their website.
Huh?
On their website.
You could have a widget on your.
Google reviews.
Right. What do you call
all
those?
Different kinds of.
What are those? Those are essentially what they are. Is they're directories / listings.
Okay. Yeah.
They're listings. That's what they are. Your Facebook page serves as a listing. Your Google My Business serves as a listing. Yelp, TripAdvisor.
Yes.
I mean, you name it. There's a whole plethora of them. And so that is another massive part, right, of the SEO puzzle. So we got it right here. Listings. Like my sound effects?
Yeah.
Listings. Listings. And with listings come reviews. So, not to get too specific, because I think we don't have a lot of time, but with listings, what would you think? Okay, so remember how I mentioned that Google is looking at your website to see what kind of experience you're providing, how often are you optimizing, how often are you publishing new content, how often are you, providing are you providing a good experience for your customers, et cetera, et cetera. Google takes that into account, right? How does Google know that the listings it finds for your business are the same to your website? Like, how does it know, oh, hey, this is, a Harley-Davidson dealer in Fort Lauderdale, Florida? How does it know out of the hundreds, thousands of listings, web pages, how does it know that that's the same as the Harley's, Harley Fort Lauderdale's website?
I don't know.
Okay, so the way it does that is it compares all the information in the listings to your website.
Okay.
It also compares the information in the listings to the listings themselves. What do you think needs to be there in order for it to know that it is the same business?
Name?
Right, but even go broader than that. What needs to happen for them to be able to match them?
Do it needs to be a link?
Like, what needs to be there in place in structure? If I have one listing that has, and many businesses, this doesn't go for dealers, have different phone numbers for different things. But if I have one listing, if my Facebook has one phone number and my Google My Business has another, what's Google going to think?
It's not the same business, possibly.
Possibly it's not the same business. That's exactly right. What happens if it sees Harley-Davidson of Fort Lauderdale, and then on the other one it has the actual corporation's name, which may be whatever motorsports.
JD Motors or whatever.
Exactly. Is it gonna? It's impossible. It's not gonna know. And so that's another big part of the SEO puzzle, right? And then that's another. I bring that up because that's obviously another part that we address, right? That's part of the pain point of getting more visitors to your website. Okay. What's another aspect that you think it takes into account? So we talked about website. We talked about listings. Huge, huge as far as like web stuff goes. We do it every day, more than any other websites ever. We spend the most amount of time on these particular things that I'm talking about. Social media.
Okay.
Social. Okay. That gets complicated because within social, your Facebook page, right, also is your listing. So it gets complicated. But the algorithm knows that the listing information is different to what actually gets posted on the Facebook page. So the component, okay, great, Mr. Customer. Your listings are matching up, fantastic. But then, are you doing anything with your Facebook page? Are you doing anything with your Facebook page that aligns with the content that's on your website? No. Oh, okay. Well, that sucks because then this whole part of the pie is missing with regards to connecting to here. Their algorithm takes all of that into account. It's going to take into account the content that actually gets posted, and not just like, oh, this is Mr. So-and-so with their new motorcycle. You know? It's relevant stuff for what you want your website to rank for. Oh, I want my websites to rank for, you know, Harley-Davidson motorcycles in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so are your social media posts mirroring that? No, they're not. All it is, you know, about our events or whatever. Well, then Google's not going to have a way to actually link that this is relevant content to that. Okay? It needs to bring it all and tie it back in together. And so that aspect of the content, social content, all right, and the listings, and your blog and website are all part of the big SEO pie. Okay? Huge. So let's move away a little bit from pain point number one, which is get more website traffic. Let's go to pain point number two, getting more leads, right? Paid, we have mentioned organic versus paid. And all of the above is organic. Everything up there is organic. Everything. Okay? Now, paid, Google says, and Bing and other companies like them, they'll tell you that, you know, technically you spending money with them does not affect your organic. I don't know that I'm too keen to really believe that. They're going to want to give you a boost. But the truth of the matter is, though, right, hard evidence that if you're running an ad with them, you could do a couple things. You could hard to collect, or not just with Google, but with Facebook and other places where you can collect customer data, right, where you could collect leads. The truth of the matter is that as opposed to organic stays up longer after you let your hand off the throttle or your foot off the throttle. Paid, as soon as you stop paying, it's gone forever, unless you turn it back on. But paid, I put here in between getting more website traffic and getting more leads because it's a hybrid. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're running a Facebook ad campaign, you can literally just have a form. So people don't even need to go to your website. And if you show them a product of interest to them, a bike of interest, it could be a used bike, it could be a used ATV or a new unit, whatever the case may be, you may already have a form right on Facebook. Boom, 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 boom. You know, form, yay. So now, paid becomes part of getting more leads.
Content form.
Right. And it also, within Google Ads and Bing Ads, becomes part of not SEO, but getting more website traffic. Okay? Going all the way up here to point number one. Why? Because you can either lead them to your website or you can lead them directly to a contact form. Okay? So let's talk about a little bit more getting granular with regards to pain point number two, which is getting more leads, right? Aside from some of what we went into getting more leads, the obvious ways with regards to paid, what do you think would be the simplest way if a dealer comes to us and says, we're getting, and I hear mixed things. I mean, you know, I hear some people see conversion rates between 4 to 6%, but they say to us, we're getting 40,000 hits and a month to our website, and we're seeing 4% conversion rate. It seems low, but believe me.
Well, if you have 40,000 hits.
Right, exactly. But my question is, what would be the quickest?
Still pretty good.
Right. But my question is, what would be the quickest way for you to get that dealer to start collecting more leads?
Put a contact form on their website.
No, they already have it.
Oh.
That's even how we can already have a conversion rate to begin with. That's how we know they're getting us.
New content?
That is a little bit more part of number one, which is getting website traffic. But think again to getting more leads.
Incentives to. Oh, I don't know.
You're actually on the right track. Incentives are good, and we are going to get to that. That's a little bit more premium content. But I'm thinking even more basic. What happens when your website sucks? You got a contact form on there, but it sucks. Am I going to want to contact you?
If your website sucks?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Quality of your website then?
Quality of your website, but that's too broad. I'm thinking like let's go a little bit more granular with regards to what's the more basic thing of saying, okay, let's ramp up your conversion rates. We kind of talked about it a little bit here, and I told you it didn't fit here. It was more toward number two. It would be conversion, not conversion therapy, conversion rate optimization. Oh, okay. So, Mr. Customer, you've got your website here. Great. You're getting, you know, God, it sucks to be a lefty.
I was thinking that the whole time.
Yeah.
How much easier it is for me to write on the
I know. Okay, so you're getting 40,000 visits. Great. This is the fold, right? This represents a screen. And you've got info here. You've got your header here. You've got a bunch of cool information, right? Mm-hmm. And out of the many ways that you can get a lead on a website, aside the form, how else can you get a lead?
Contact information.
Right, like what? What do you give them for them?
That's what I mean. You give them your contact information.
Right, correct.
Your phone number, your email,
right.
or like those kind of things.
Exactly. So, okay. Let's just say this is the main landing page. Directions. That's right. That's right. So
names of people. It's always good.
Yeah. So, but also keep in mind too, a lot of people going through website traffic, if directions is important, if they want to go to the store for sure. But if they're the kind of people that are like, I don't want to talk to a human yet, but I do want to give them my info or I want more information on it, right? That's me. That's me as well. Exactly. It's kind of like a generational, transitional thing that's going on. Very understandable. We're very busy. There's a lot information overload going on. But so, okay, one of the things would be, am I making it easy enough in the content? Oh, Mr. Customer, right? We're talking about conversion rate optimization. Mr. Customer, oh, your phone number is tiny. Oh, wow. Maybe your phone number should be 954. What's our phone number? 421-2266? 461. 461-2266. Okay. Oh, wow. That's really now up there in my face. Great. And then you go, what's the error number 2? You see, you got a slider here. You got all your navigation or whatever. But then you go, oh my God. Wait, what is this? Is this a contact form down here? You mean to tell me the contact form is all the way at the bottom of the page, right by the fold, where they can't even see that hidden under here?
Yeah.
We've got a form, for them to fill out, so they can find out about our awesome motorcycles. How you have to make them work. You got to make them work for you. You got to make them scroll. That's one aspect of CRO. One aspect, right? How easy are things to find? How big are they? Are they hidden under the fold? How do they look on different screens? Okay. Furthermore,
how does it look on mobile?
How does it look on mobile? How many freaking fields are you making me fill out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do I need to give you 10 pieces of information? Or can I just give you my freaking, let's just say full name, number, and email? Oh, wow. That's only 3 things. I think I'll fill that out. Right? Would you rather fill this out? Or would you rather fill this out? Mm-hmm. So that's CRO. And it's really, really one of the quickest ways to get a dealer getting more leads. Okay? Now, I'm going to erase this because I want to add another one. Let's talk about the one that we previously mentioned, aside from CRO, okay, which is going to be PPC. Can you tell me what PPC is?
Pay-per-click.
Damn straight. Pay-per-click. Where can you do pay-per-click? Which, by the way, is commonly called PPC, pay-per-click, but in reality, you can also pay per thousand. So, you could do PPN. But whatever, most of the time, it's more efficient to do a pay-per-click. But can you tell me where we can do pay-per-click?
Advertisements?
Right, specifically, go more granular. Google? Facebook?
Instagram?
Bing. Instagram, yes, but it's not so much pay-per-click. It works a little bit better for campaign awareness or for brand awareness,
Yeah.
But that would be really somewhere where you can. And actually, Facebook and Instagram are kind of one and the same. Obviously, Instagram is owned by Facebook, and so within managing a campaign for Facebook, you automatically in there have access to your campaign on Instagram. So pay-per-click, what I had mentioned to you before, is a more expensive way to get more leads and to get more website traffic than SEO is, but But SEO is a marathon. It's a long-term strategy. And it's also a strategy that lasts longer. It's almost like working out. It's long-term, and then you're buff. Even if you become a couch potato, you're still going to be buff probably a couple years after you worked out. SEO is kind of similar, as opposed to PPC. Stop paying your bill, boom, goes away immediately.
Yeah.
Now, it also comes up immediately, as opposed to SEO takes longer. You get instant abs. Can I do abs? Does that look like abs?
The line, you're doing it sideways.
Like a, you know, like a little six pack.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Or some money makers. PPC is instant abs. Instant abs. You get your abs right away. You get in front of the customer right away. But it comes at a price, obviously. And then the nuances and the things, the details with regards to, we're gonna have to stop here soon. The details obviously within pay-per-click that are important is also great. You can generate more traffic to the website. Is it relevant traffic?
Mm-hmm.
Is it 14? Is it 14?
People really gonna buy?
Right. Is it a 14-year-old girl that's going over to, you know, landing on a page for a, you know, for a Hayabusa, you know, highly irrelevant. And so that traffic doesn't really count. You want highly relevant targeted traffic. That's on the traffic side of things for pain point number one. On the lead side of things, you can get leads. Oftentimes, you can often capture information from people. People will, in a relatively surprisingly easy way, give you their information. However, is it relevant? Are they good leads?
Mm-hmm.
Are they leads that when the sales team reaches out to them, they answer? Or were they just poking around and, you know, for whatever reason? I don't understand why you would give your information to somebody for fun, but, you know,
right.
You get all sorts of weird things like that. So that's where the managing and optimizing of the PPC campaigns and paid advertising in general for web goes into. And again, PPC, okay, paid is a strategy that's hybrid in the sense that it could generate more traffic, it could generate more leads, okay? Mm-hmm. We may want to do paid advertising to not necessarily collect leads, but to get responses on an event, for instance, that a dealership is doing locally. The dealership just wants people to come out and mingle. That's actually one of the best ways for you to sell indirectly. You just want people to come and have fun, this and that, and come meet, come, you know, shake hands and be down in the trenches, and people come meet your staff or whatever.
There's a connection made.
Exactly. And one of the best ways is let's do a rocking event page, an event page on Facebook. Let's promote that, right? It's paid. It gets in front of people's faces, right? But then within that paid also, we do want to target it specifically. We want to go with the specifics of the radius that we want to hit.
Yeah.
You know, and then also kind of like the demographic that we want to speak to. And we can get event responses. You can also gauge, not only by door counters at the dealer, but you could also gauge how many people actually reacted.
Yeah, like if you create an event on
You get responses.
Facebook, you can have people interested, people going.
Correct, exactly.
Only thing is you don't know if they actually showed up.
Well, that's where I was saying that the door counters or somebody with a manual counter at the dealer,
right.
you know, could you can get good idea. There are like multiple different methods out there where you can actually count people and get a pretty good close estimate. So, okay, so there's a few other within getting more leads within pain point number 2 that we addressed. And I'm just going to write on here, even though we're not going to go into it, pain point number 3 because it's so crucial. And we've got something right now on our blog that's posted that talks about it, okay, which is getting more repeat sales. And that comes through nurturing current established clients, nurturing relationships with current established clients. So pain point number 3 is getting more repeat sales. And also on our next session too, that I'll leave you with, I want to add one in there. It's actually not on our website, but remember how I told you that it was a lie that we're just only marketing because we do sales enablement and we help with sales enablement? Well, I want to add that because within pain point number 2, in getting more leads, somewhere in there toward the end of it and before getting repeat sales, there's actually, right, this is getting more leads. There's actually like a 2.5, let's call it 2.5, which is closing
Leads.
more leads, right? Now, this is subjective in the sense that we really can't, as a digital agency for a dealership, we really can't close for the dealer because there's so many variants that are dependent on their sales staff. Right? What we can affect, however, even after somebody converted to a lead, is we can help them with sales enablement tools to follow up. And so this is where our sales enablement tool and CRM comes into play, that if you, let's say, were to touch base with somebody who converted into a lead and you only followed up with them twice, if we put them now on an email sequence, right, within the tools that we offer, and we hit them up 5 or 6 times, guess what? Now we're more likely to get that person through the door. As opposed to before, it would have just fallen off, it would have been forgotten. So this is a big aspect of things. So obviously we can't do the closing, but we do help within that. We help getting more leads to the road of actually getting more sales. So I think that's a lot for today, right?
Yeah.